was a fluffy lady walking down the street carrying a duck in her arm. Well, as she was walking, she happened to meet a drunk guy coming down the road. And the drunk guy stopped her and said, "Boy, that is a nice pig you got there." And she said, "It's not a pig, it's a duck." He said, "I know, I was talking to the duck." There we go.
I don't want to tell a joke, I just want to tell a story, because there's been a lot of inspirational things that Papa has done. And there was this one time, I remember it was probably about 15 years ago, Papa went down to the end of the driveway, and he looks down, and he sees this big toe laying right in the middle of the driveway. It was the craziest thing, a big toe right in the middle of the driveway, and he was wondering, where did this big toe come from? And the biggest question he had is, what am I going to do with this big toe now? Because, I mean, what are people going to think? That I, took somebody out or something. So I can't just throw it in the trash, someone find it and think I've murdered somebody. I've got to find something to do with this big toe. And, of course, he comes to me, because I have all the answers. And he asked me, "Adam, what am I going to do with this big toe that you have, that I have here?" And I, of course, in all my wisdom, I say, "Papa, you know what to do with that big toe. Just call a tow truck."
Some of you probably heard this. There were two guys here on Earth, and they both absolutely loved baseball. Absolutely loved baseball, and so they got to talking to each other. We love baseball so much, but and we're both Christians. I wonder if there's baseball in heaven. And so they looked at each other and they were talking, and they said, "Well, I'll tell you what, let's make a deal. All right, when one of us dies, the other one has to come back and let them know if there's baseball in heaven or not. Because we want to know if we're going to be able to play baseball for eternity." And years went by, and they remembered their pact together, and one of them finally dies. And he goes up to heaven, and he comes back, and he says, comes back to his friend, he goes, "Wow, you held your promise. You came back to tell me. Is there, what is it? What's the news?" He said, "Well, I've got good news and bad news." He said, "Well, give me the good news." He said, "Well, there's baseball in heaven. It's great news." "Oh, well, that's great. What could there be bad news? What bad news?" He said, "You're pitching tonight."
I'm going to do Dad's favorite joke. All right, this is Dad's favorite joke. I can't tell it like Dad, but I'm going to try to. Sam Clam and Tommy Turtle both died. May have to correct me. So Sam Clam went to the bad place, and Tommy Turtle went to heaven. And so when Tommy Turtle got to heaven, some of you are not going to understand this, but some of you will. Tommy Turtle went to heaven, and he's standing up there, and he says, "You know what? I want to visit Sam Clam." And Sam Clam had a disco down in hell. He had a disco. And Dad always tells it, when Sam Clam was dancing down there in the disco. And Tommy Turtle says, "I want to go down there." Well, they said to him, "If you go down there, you've got to make sure you're back by midnight." And he said, "I'm going to take my harp with me." He had his harp, which he got when he got to heaven. So they said, "Okay, you can go." So he goes down there, and he's playing his harp, and they're in the disco, and all of a sudden it strikes 12, and he knows he's got to get back to heaven, and he hurries as fast as he can, and he slides into the gate, and when he gets inside, he realizes something. And they said, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" He said, "Oh no, I left my heart in Sam Clam's disco.